Good morning, everybody. It is Amy from Swisher Family Farm. I'm going to take you on a tour today of how my greenhouse is set up as I get ready to start planting for our spring garden. We are adding extra beds to our garden. I'll pan the camera around real quick so you can see what we did last year and have started for this year. So you probably remember the outside beds there and all the way around. All the way around over to here. We had a pretty good harvest just in those outside beds. We are anticipating a much bigger harvest this year because we have started adding in these raised beds here in the middle. So there's 4 of them that are 3 foot across and 1 of them that is 2 foot across. That is intentional because of the way we spaced the beds apart. We wanted to be able to get the wheelbarrow in between the 2 beds. So the wheelbarrow can go around the outside and in between the 2 beds. So this is where we're going to put the, we're going to have 4 or 5 matching beds on this side of the garden, right here, where the dog is running around. And then we're going to have 2 long beds in the middle. Raised beds are all 2 foot tall. They're made out of 2x12s. And they're very sturdy. They've got 4x4 supports in them. I'll put a link to that video in the description. So as you know, earlier this year, or I'm sorry, in 2022, Justin built me a greenhouse. We went and found on Facebook Marketplace, we went and found some old used windows. We found a guy that goes around to construction sites and buys windows when they're refurbishing a house. And so he buys them or they pay him to take the windows away so they don't have to dispose of them. And then he sells them for $5 each. So we got insulated double pane windows for our greenhouse. Now, some of you may say, well, those windows don't open, so there's not going to be any airflow. We are going to put a fan in the greenhouse. We have a storm door that I'm going to show you in a minute that has a window in it, so we can open the storm door and turn on the fan, so we'll be able to get airflow in there to harden off the plants before we plant them outside. So that is our plan. But I'm going to take you on a quick tour. I will put a link in the video description as well for the playlist for Justin building the greenhouse. And so I'm going to take you inside and show you what we've done. One of the other things that we did and added to the greenhouse, he's always going to the clearance aisle at the big box store, and if he sees like cabinets or something that he thinks we can use on the homestead, if he sees them that are like scratch and dent, he will talk to the manager and see if he can get it even cheaper. So the cabinets that we got were stock. They're stock cabinets, but they were damaged during the manufacturing of them. Like one of them, you can see where they put the staples in. I don't know what the guy was doing that was doing the stapling, but you can see where he put it too close to the edge and it cracked the wood. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the cabinet other than that. But he bought 2 uppers and a lower for $200. So the lower was $100, and then the 2 uppers were $50 each. And it's perfect for what we need in the greenhouse. So always look for that. Look for things. If you don't have a lot of money, you don't have to go out and buy expensive stuff. Look for those clearance items. So the bottom part of the door, of the window part here, is a screen. So the window has latches at the bottom, and you just open it up and then the airflow will be able to go through there. Like I said, we are going to put a fan in there because you are correct, none of these windows open. But we're not worried about that. We are going to get some airflow in there because we're going to open this window and then put a fan in there. So the fan, you can see the fan inside the door. So the fan will blow stuff around, blow the air around to help harden off the plants so they get used to being outside even when they're in the greenhouse. So now we're going to go on in. Now it's not finished in here because we still have to do the floor. So we are going to put some crush and run down on the floor. That's the gravel that's on our driveway. You can see out there, that's that gravel that's on the driveway. So over here, this is my radio flyer wagon. That was mine when I was a little girl. And you guys probably remember last year at this time, we were up at my mom's house in Ohio and we were helping to pack up her house to move her to an assisted living, which she is currently living at and is doing very well. But when we were going through our stuff, or her stuff, we were able to go through and get some of the stuff that we needed for like the garden. I'm going to use the radio flyer wagon to transport stuff around the garden. I can set plant trays in it. I can set some of my tools and stuff in it and then move them around the garden, fertilizer, things like that. So I'm very excited about that. I love that little wagon. It still works just like it did when I was a little girl. Over here, Justin took some PVC pipe that we didn't need anymore, and we put our trellises in that we use for our peppers and tomato plants. And you can see here's some of the shorter ones, and then these are the full length ones. And so I wanted a place to keep those centrally located, and so that makes it real easy. So he just added that in. Now, one of the things we did do, you know, I said we are going to put crush and run in down at the bottom to keep the cabinet, because it's just cheap kitchen cabinets, you can see. See, just keep cheap kitchen cabinets. One of the things that we did was we got it up off the ground. That is a 1x6 that's down there, and he just built a frame and set the cabinet on top of it. We are going to put crush and run in, so we'll make the floor more even, but we wanted to keep that off the ground anyway so it doesn't swell. And I mean, even if it does swell, we paid next to nothing for it. But down here at the bottom, we can keep different chemicals and stuff in there. I've got my sprayers in there. We've got floating row covers, plastic covers. We are going to put just a piece of plywood here over top of this. And then in my drawer, I'll have all my tools and stuff that I'll need to plant. I've got my soil tester here. I've got labels for my seed starters, and then when I transplant them, I'll have that. I've got, this goes to the sprayer down below. These go with my seed starter, these little tools right here, and then Justin got me a new trowel and rake. My pruning shears also, that I recently did a video on pruning our fruit trees, and I use these. And then up here we've got our natural fertilizers, these are all the things Justin last year went to one of the big box stores at the end of the season, and they had all of these Captain Jack things and stuff like that on sale. Very cheap. Like, these are normally like $15 a bottle, and he got them each for $5. So we got quite a few natural pesticides that we'll be able to use in our garden. These up here on this shelf, we put the braces that go on the trellis for the tomatoes and the peppers, and that's what these are. That just makes it easier for them to be kept. Those are the clips that go on the row covers for the low tunnel. So Justin will build some hoops, and we'll put the low tunnel down, or we'll put the ground cover on it and use those clips to keep it in place. And that's the fan that I mentioned. We may get another fan. This one works pretty good. We used to have it in the house, but it does work pretty good. And it moves. So it's one of those oscillating fans, so it'll move different directions to better simulate the wind. So hopefully it will work. And then I do have a chair in here. It's just a little cafe chair. We have shelves down below, and that's where I have my seed starter trays and things down there. And then here are my seed starting trays. So I have a stack right there. There's actually 400 seed starts that I can do with these trays. This is one that's already got dirt in it. I just wanted to get it filled and see what it looked like and how it did. And you can see I've had it in there for a couple of days, and there's moisture on the top already. So it'll keep it nice and moist to be just like a little mini greenhouse. I don't have any seeds in there yet, but I got the dirt in there, and I'll be working on that coming up soon. Another pack of labels, so I'm excited about that. And we're going to be planting vegetables, some fruits, and lots of flowers. One of the things that we did last year that I noticed, here's our flowers that we're going to be planting. One of the things that I did last year that I noticed was where the peppers were, we put these cosmos there. Let me get them in the light. These cosmos there. And the cosmos was really good ground cover for them. They did grow kind of tall, but they were very full and big. The plant itself was full and big. And there were hardly any weeds around the peppers. So this year, one of the things that I'm going to be doing differently is making sure that I have ground cover all around all of the plants. You know, Justin and I did move out here from the city. We have done some gardening in the past, but it was more just tomato plants or just certain things. We didn't do a lot of herbs. We're going to do a lot more herbs this year. But we didn't, when we came out here, we didn't have an extensive amount of experience. So a lot of what we have done in the past is, the last 2 years, is really kind of trial and error. So this year is really hopefully going to kick up our food production. We are still going to be doing some trial and error on some of our plants. For example, we're going to grow for the first time this year, we're going to start some artichokes. We both love artichokes. So that's going to be a trial and error. We do know that they grow in this area. I've done some research and been able to determine that they do grow in this area. And so we're going to try them out this year and see what happens. So we'll see what happens with that, and you can come along for the journey. As you know, Justin built these shelves. So we've got shelves all the way around here on the bottom. And it's a little bit cluttered right now just because I'm getting ready to do some planting. And then so on the top shelf up here, he put the screen so that even if plants are up there, there's still sunlight coming through. I'll be able to rotate them around and, you know, put the stuff that's on the bottom, move them up to the top and vice versa as I need to as they're growing. So he did this all the way around, all the way down to the end. So sunlight will still come through down to the bottom and it won't be blocked off. Plus, if any dirt or anything falls out of the seed trays, it will fall through to the bottom part and make it easier to clean off. You did probably notice Justin does have a couple of tools in here. It's just temporary for the time being. This is a safe place to keep it in and out of the elements. He's got his air compressor in here and a saw, his chop saw, and then a tote that has some other tools and stuff in it. And that's just temporary. We are going to be getting a storage container out here that he and his dad are going to be making into a shop. So he'll be doing that, and then all of that stuff is going to go in the storage container. So that's very exciting. So that's a tour of my greenhouse, and thank you very much for stopping by to see it. You know, this is our trial and error this year for our greenhouse. This is the first time, and I can tell you, it's cold outside. You can see I have on a sweatshirt. It's cold outside. It's really cold outside. It's like 40 degrees outside, 45 maybe. It probably has warmed up a little bit. But today it's only going to be in the 50s, but it is nice and warm in here. In fact, probably when I'm doing my seedlings, I'm going to be taking off my sweatshirt and just having the t-shirt on underneath it. But thank you so much for coming by. We really appreciate you for watching our videos. And please hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up if you like this video. And tell your friends about us. Share our videos. Every little bit helps. We really appreciate it. And we hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for stopping by.